from home, and we are with Professor John Macintyre, who's been working from home for some time now. So John, can you explain how long you've been working from home and what you've been up to?
Yeah, thanks. For those who don't know me, I'm Professor John Macintyre. I'm Pro Vice Chancellor International at the University of Sunderland. And I'm now just about to enter my third month of self-isolation and working at home, because on the 8th of February I had an operation on my spine, which required quite an extensive recuperation. And so, as it happens, just circumstances, I've actually been self-isolating from the 8th of February. And it's been an interesting experience in terms of both, of course, recovering from surgery, but progressively getting back into work. And of course, because of the situation that's developed with COVID-19, being isolated for that period of time and also finding better ways to work from home, it's been a really interesting experience.
So, John, what does it feel like working from home for this long?
I think, in all honesty, it can feel very isolating. It can feel like, we use the term self-isolation, but it can feel very isolated and even lonely, actually, at times. And I think one of the things I experienced over that period was occasionally feeling quite anxious. Anxious about whether or not I was doing my job, anxious whether I was pulling my weight, anxious whether I'm kind of really supporting colleagues enough. So I think at times it's been frustrating. It's felt a little bit lonely, and it can actually, induce some stress and some feelings of anxiety.
Yeah, I can understand that as well. What have you learned from the experience of working from home?
Yeah, I think it has very much been a learning experience, and I think first of all was the need to be disciplined about time. If you're not used to working from home, then allocating set blocks of time to get specific kind of tasks on specific things you're going to do in certain amounts of time, that's been very important. I think for me early on, I was kind of working from wherever I was sat down. Actually, for the first 3 weeks, working from bed. And that doesn't really, I think, lend itself to kind of effective working. So for me, allocating a proper working space, in my case, the loft I'm in here, I did a loft conversion a few years ago. That's been a great opportunity to use this space as a working space.
So is this more like your office at home then, John?
Yeah, so I've kind of made I've made a corner of it into a kind of working space, into an office, with a desk and a chair and stuff, so and that being, when I'm working, that's the space I'm in. So it's kind of, clear that I'm making that my working kind of area. I think the other thing about learning has been learning to use the online platforms, and that's been really helpful, especially Teams. In the international office, we use Skype a lot. We're, Skyping with partners overseas, we're Skyping with various individuals and our own colleagues overseas all the time. But actually, Teams, I think, is a much better platform, and so having Teams to be team working, I think, has been a big boost. I found it essential to stay connected with colleagues, not just in terms of getting the job done, but being part of the university. And I think we all recognise, don't we, that the job that we do individually doesn't define us as a person. But it is true to say that the job's a big part of your life. Coming into the office and being around people who aren't just colleagues but friends as well. It's a big part, that interaction, the human interaction. And so right now we can't do that because of the health situation. So trying to replace that with interaction with your colleagues, that's been a big learning point for me.
Yeah, that's true as well. I'm using Teams quite a lot, even just to chat to some of my friends across the university as well, which I think Teams has been pretty essential. That it's been launched exactly at the right time.
Absolutely.
Just to think on some of the more negative aspects of working from home. So what's been the worst part of working from home for you?
Yeah, I think it can be a bit frustrating at times. I mean, obviously, the IT infrastructure that we've got wasn't initially designed to cope with everybody connecting from home. So sometimes things can be a bit slow. The Exchange server and kind of linking to emails has been a bit slow at times. my own kind of broadband here at home has struggled with it at times. So I think there's been an element of that. I think the other thing for me I've noticed is that the kind of things that we would normally deal with a short conversation at work, email is replacing those short conversations, and so there's a massive growth in emails, which I think is problematic. And I'm getting to the point where now I think it would be better, and I've done this a few times today even, just to connect with someone on Teams, drop them a note via Teams rather than an email. Hey, can we have a quick chat? Have a 5-minute chat, and then it's done, rather than sending emails and stuff. So that's been an issue. And yeah, the worst part can be that sense of isolation, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's probably good that Teams is available. So if you really wanted to connect with someone, you can even just have a chat, or even do a quick video or voice call if you just fancy a chat. So thinking about on the more positive side, so what do you think has been the best aspects of working from home?
Yeah, I think first of all, we've been all forced to learn new skills and ways of working. So using Teams as a platform, for example, conducting meetings using this, and finding a way to do that better, I think has been a key skill which we'll end up using in the long run. I think there's quite a lot of sort of distributed working that, particularly I suppose for the international office with colleagues all over the world, I think it's a good way of working. We're learning to do this better. So I think that's a good thing. For me, I am a real positive for me is I'm so proud of the international office team. I really am. The way that as a group we've come together to get the job done, and the way that my team and colleagues are supporting each other has just been fantastic. I'm really, really impressed by that, and very proud of the team. And I think also the way that we have made time to connect with each other socially, and not just about getting the job done, but maintaining the friendships and connections. I actually think those friendships and connections are going to come out of this stronger than we went into it. So that's a real positive.
Yeah, it is a good positive. And again, I've been using chat to friends who I very rarely chat to, and I've been using Teams just to connect up with people, which has been really good. Right, John, the final sort of question I want to ask you: have you got any sort of key messages I would like to give to people as they go through the road of what you've been through for being at home for 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, so I think my key message is we can do this. Here I am entering my 3rd month of self-isolation, and I guess there's a lot of people now, this is new to them. We're kind of a week into the bigger picture isolation, as imposed by the government. And some people might feel pretty daunted by that and worried about it. And I understand why you would feel. But I can honestly tell you that after 2 months of this, I think I feel more connected to the university than I did at the start. I genuinely mean that. And I definitely feel like I'm able to contribute and play my part and do my job. I've learned things about my colleagues in the international office that I probably wouldn't have ever known. I've seen them in their home settings. I've learned about their families and their pets, and I feel friendships. I genuinely feel the friendships and the working relationships are actually being strengthened. And so my message is, if we are in this situation for a month or 2 months or 3 months, we can do it. And not only can we do it, we can actually come out of it stronger than we went in.
Thank you for that, John. And thank you for spending the time to do this sort of quick interview.
Thanks, Gary. And to everyone, stay well and stay safe.
Bye. Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye.